Hi there, not much of a long intro today, straight into the video. Going to use this lovely heart-shaped chopping board, which we've applied some blue painter's tape to. Just a little bit on the back, just to protect the other side. A round mirror, which we're going to place in the middle, more or less in the middle of the heart. And a pencil. Some of this glass relief pen by Pebeo. Or pen, I say paint even, sorry, apologies. Some acrylic paint, a lovely pinky colour, a violety purpley colour, and also some Vista Polar White pigment. Here we go. We're going to use some of this, which is holographic, sort of bits of holographic film, different colours we've got for that, and also some of this white crushed glass which we purchased from a shop called Dunelm Mill in the UK. 3 lots of resin colours. Hopefully it's becoming clear now what we're going to do. So first off, he's positioned the mirror where he wants the mirror. Apologies, you've got the reflection there of the phone camera in the shot. Just drawing carefully around the edge of this lovely little circular mirror. Obviously, you don't have to do a circular mirror. You could do a square mirror, oblong mirror, totally up to you. You could also don't have to do a heart-shaped board as your backing for this. You can use any shape that you want. Right, now, it's going to use the relief paint just very carefully around the edges. Now, this has been sped up. Otherwise, you would have been here watching this for about an hour, probably, in total. But carefully following the pencil line drawn by him that went round the mirror. So this just gives you a guide as to where the mirror placement is going to be. There we go. So once you're happy with that, you let that dry for a little while. Now he's going in with a glue gun. Lots of things being used in today's video. Everything we do use will be linked in the description box just down below. So this is any glue gun will do. And he's just carefully putting a line just slightly outside of the first one that he did, which went over the pencil line of the edge of the mirror. So this will help with keeping, it creates a natural sort of dam to stop or border to stop the resin that he's going to use from going over too close to the mirror. And it'll help with his overall composition and design. So, going to mix up some Ghoul resin. It's a 1-to-1 mixing ratio. And then also what he's got here is he's added in some of the colours. Now, he used the acrylic paints to make these colours. So, where you've got the darker pink, all he's done is just used the pink that we had, that he showed you first off, and then to get the lighter he's also mixed in a bit of the white. Now once you've mixed it all thoroughly into the resin, he's decided where he's going to put the colours of the resin. Apologies, I think you just saw one of our little doggies in the background there of the shot. So just carefully, now this resin's quite thick, so he has let the resin go off a little bit in the mixing cup. And he's just pouring it onto the board up to where he wants it to do. Now, make sure that you put protective mat underneath. We're using just another silicone mat that we've got because resin is going to move. It self-levels, which is great. That's what we want it to do. But it's also going to drip off the sides. As you can see, he's just scraping a few bits off and putting them back into the cup. There we are. Obviously, you don't have to do that. You can just let it drip off the sides and then obviously do a bit of a clean-up job afterwards. Now, using a micro brush, just getting a little bit of something out of the resin there. And here he goes in with this lovely deep pink colour. Just a little bit further up, that's it. And as you can see, it's still moving. Now, ideally, this resin needs to be a bit thicker than what it actually is because it didn't quite have the effect that he wanted it to have. But like we've said before, we will show you the real thing, the reality of what it's like to do things for the first time, because never done this before. Obviously worked with resin before, but never done this actual project before. And so we weren't sure how it was going to react with the wooden board or whether or not the resin was going to be thick enough. And there's always that danger point that if you let it go off for too long in the mixing cup, it will flash cure and you'll just end up with resin that you just cannot use. So there we go. He's pouring on the much paler pink there. So it's almost getting like a bit of an ombre effect going on. Now, the resin definitely wasn't thick enough. It wasn't opaque enough. But that's okay, because really this is a guide. So when he applies those lovely little bits of holographic, I'm going to call them foil papers, or film papers, sorry, not foil, film papers. It's just going to give a background so that in case any of it you can see through, you won't just see wooden board. So here he goes in with the white all across the top bit of the heart into the dip bit in the middle, being careful not to pour it over the glue that he put in there for the hot glue gun, that barrier. So here we are. Didn't wait too long after he'd poured the resin in, and he's using one of these lovely little spades. They're so cute. They're from Joules at Resin Joules, but he's using it to put on this gorgeous holographic film onto the bottom part of this chopping board, because this is a chopping board at the moment, where he has poured the lovely lavendery purpley coloured resin. So just pouring it on little bit at a time, trying to be careful as to where you're placing it. And again, if you want to, what you can do is just put a piece of paper or something underneath so you can catch any pieces that fall off, and then obviously you can reuse those. Now again, different colour, a deeper pink. Look at that. Gorgeous these are. These were available from Temu. Don't forget, we do have a discount code for Temu. We also have a code for new app users with Temu, which gets you a bit more money off, and obviously some coupon bundles, or bundles of coupons for money off all their products on their website. So there we are. He's just doing the much paler pink colour there. And lo and behold, yes, we've got some white as well. So in he goes with the white. Well, that's me just clearing up some resin as well for him that's still just sort of dripping off the bottom. So that really is sort of like a bluey white frosted sort of colour. Now, he did go back and reapply a lot more of that holographic film before he did this next process. Now he's getting the crushed glass, the white crushed glass, and he's putting it, spooning it, or spooning it into this clear resin. Now again, I think he was hoping that this would give, it seems to go see-through, which is a shame, because what we wanted was a white crushed glass effect then in the next part of his design. But like I've said already in this video, we will just show you what happens, how you can go about making it what you want it to be, and so on. Now, before he did that next bit with the crushed glass, need to remove the hot glue border that we did. So just carefully pull it away. I mean, it's totally up to you. You can leave it there if you want to, but Wayne wanted to remove it, so just very carefully pulled it away and then discarded it. There we go. So just before he puts the crushed glass in, he's made a decision. He's going to put the mirror in its place. So he's using some glue. Now this obviously makes sure that the glue you're going to use is suitable for adhering or sticking metal or glass to wood. So most super glues are absolutely fine to use for this. So he's just made sure he's applied enough. There we go. You've got our phone back in shot again that we used to film all our videos on. Actually are filmed on just on your regular camera on your phone. There we go. So he's just pressing it down, trying to get it to stick in place. There we go. So here we go with the resin with the crushed glass in it. So he was really hoping that would remain white coloured, but as you can see, it's gone completely see-through. So just carefully pouring it in that space now between the edge of the mirror and the border where the rest of the resin and the beautiful iridescent foil flakes are, or film flakes are. There we go. It is spreading out slightly, as you can see, but that's absolutely fine. That doesn't matter. I think at this point, all he was trying to do was create another type of texture, or to give it like, I don't know if you're into crystals and semi-precious gemstones, but like a druzy. It's called druzy, D-R-U-Z-Y, a druzy effect. So if you look up agate, druzy agate, semi-precious gemstones, you'll see what we mean. There we go. So just making sure that all that resin is up to the edge of the mirror, and then he's got some clear resin that he is now pouring over the rest of the hearts, because the thing is, when you're using this kind of beautiful iridescent holographic film, when you've used lots of little bits of it, if you don't put a seal coat over the top, you will probably find, like we did, that little bits of it come away and come off of the mirror. And obviously you don't want that to happen. You want it to be sealed completely on it. So when you pick the mirror up and you put it on the wall, or you put it on a stand or a dressing table, or wherever you're going to put this, that bits of that lovely foil flake or film flake don't come off. So again, this is just like a seal coat, a bit like if you were going to put a seal coat of resin onto perhaps a picture that you'd drawn or painted, if you've ever done that. So this is just us being extra special careful and just making sure that if it's on there, it's going to stay on there. There we go. So again, he's just doing a bit of a clear up as he goes. You don't have to do that, of course. But, you know, obviously if you don't, then all that'll happen is when it's finished curing, you'll be able to just peel those bits of clear resin off and either use them for another project if that's what you do, or discard them and put them in. Make sure that you dispose of them carefully. Just pop them in the bin. So you can see from that viewpoint, you can still see some of the wood through where the coloured resin is gone and where those beautiful film flakes have gone, but that's absolutely fine. I suppose in hindsight, you could actually paint it. You could paint the board in the different colours. It's totally up to you. But Wayne was quite happy with the way that this was turning out. There we go. So just a little bit of a clean up on the mirror. And here we go, back in again with some more of this crushed white glass from Dunelm Mill. Dunelm Mill is a shop. It's a retail shop here in the UK. You don't have to purchase it from there. In fact, it's one of those things that if you see it in the store, great, pick it up, get it if it's what you want. It's not necessarily something they'll have regularly in stock. So you can, of course, opt to buying it off of Amazon or elsewhere where you shop to get all your crafting bits and pieces and things. So he's just trying to create some more. He's trying to create a little bit of more of a 3D effect with it, which I think hopefully you can see what's going on there. He's just doing a bit up the top. Unfortunately, it's not in camera shot. Apologies for that. You know what it's like when you're doing these projects. You can get a little bit carried away and not realise, particularly if we're trying to film them, that that little bit wasn't quite in shot. But never mind, never mind. There we go. I'm sure that you all by now get the gist of what he's trying to do. He's just trying to create enough of a 3D effect. So he also then decided to go back over to try and differentiate between the different colours from where they gradiate from one into the other. So the lavender purpley colour into the darker pink into the paler pink, and the paler pink into the white. I wouldn't say that this is necessarily something that will show up in the finished piece, but you know, it's absolutely fine. you don't have to do all of these steps. Our videos are always just a tutorial of this is what we did. You know, you can follow what we've done by all means, or you can adapt it to suit, you know, your composition and design that you want to do. So what he's doing here is that he's applying some brilliant white Arteza mica powder, just using a regular paintbrush, and he's brushing it all over the surface of that white crushed glass that he put in, which unfortunately did go see-through again, but created more of the border that he wanted, the more raised effect that he wanted for his design. So apologies, you're just getting a bit more of a close-up of his hand there. So here's me. So this is after a good day and a half later. So everything is cured to do with the resin, and now we just need to remove this tape. Now this can be it sticks pretty well. Indeed, it sticks very, very well. But it did eventually all come off. You can just do what I'm doing and peel it all off like this. We didn't want to mark the wood. That's one thing we didn't want to do. We didn't want to mark the wood. So very carefully peeling it off like that. Now, as you can see, some of it is staying behind. If you get that, like we did, what you can then do, there we go, it's like there, you can then get a heat gun and just warm it through a little bit, put your gloves back on, and then just remove it. Now, this is then after that's happened, and look at this. I'm just testing to make sure that mica powder doesn't come off on your hands. And here we are in the finishing shot of this beautiful mirror. I think this is really, really stunning. It would look lovely in a dressing room, particularly in a little girl's bedroom. Lots of images of little princesses and things like that, or of much more grown-up girls who are very happy, would be very, very happy indeed to have this in their dressing room. Thanks again for tuning in, watching, liking, sharing and subscribing. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and we will see you again in another 2 or 3 days' time with another video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.